Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Bitcoin is having a bit of a pullback here, so we just want to go live into and see what's going on. So let me post this in the Telegram groups, and then we will jump in. So currently we are at 55.7, 55.8. All right, so we just hit the 8-week for Bitcoin, which again is where I mean, that's historically been our support this bull market anyways. We'll see if it holds, but we just went to the 8-week, so it was a pretty nice move there. So on the week, 7%. So on the day, about a 7% drop. Yeah, maybe we'll see. I mean, I think it's too early to say yet, but Pi cycle. I mean, we had other corrections over here that ultimately were not the top. So I think we'll have to wait and see if it actually plays out. So far it is. So far it is, but we'll see. The bull market support band. By the way, we'll first start at the daily time frame. So the 20-day and 21-day, we've obviously gone below. So, you know, anytime everyone starts feeling bearish, we're generally below the 20-day SMA and the 21-day EMA, which are at 59,321 and 59,000. So we're well below those. And, you know, we're currently sitting right at that 8-week moving average, or right above it. So let's take a look. So that's where we are. So so we've tested the 8-week at, you know, at around 19K or so, at around 30K, at around 52K, and then again at 55K, and then again at 56K, and now again. Now are we, it looks like, yeah, we're right at 55,350. So 55,350 is the 8-week SMA. Which I'm certainly not saying we have to hold or anything. I mean, that's just where it is. Now, if we do have a correction back to our bull market support band, it's not as far as you may think from the current prices. So in the past, it's been relatively far. I mean, at this point, when we were over here, it would have been a 58% drop. From the current prices, the 20-week SMA is only 24% away. The 21-week EMA is about 22% away. So they're not that far away in the grand scheme of things. And again, we're just talking about it because that was our support in the last bull market. And we've actually gone quite a while without testing it. Basically growing old while we never tested. So you can see, again, we've made a lot of comparisons to, you know, 2 market cycles ago and the current market cycle, and the idea that it could be, you know, one of these double peak cycles rather than a systematic retest of the 20-week SMA like we had during the last market cycle. Okay, so this one was a lot more systematic, just, you know, obvious tests of the 20-week SMA after going up to new highs. We always went back down to test that 20-week SMA. We haven't done that this cycle yet. Well, we did it once. Okay, we did it once because we should at least count this. We came up to, you know, $12,000 or so, then came back down and tested that 20-week SMA for about 6 weeks or so before trending back up. So currently, one of the things I will say is if we break the 8-week, we've discussed this before, you know, breaking that shorter term moving average, whenever it finally broke it back in 2013, we did go to that 20-week SMA. So if our shorter term moving average breaks, which it hasn't done yet, okay, it hasn't done it yet, but if it did, and we were to continue to emulate 2 cycles ago, then, you know, that would be the next step, more than likely. But until that happens, you know, there's still a decent chance the 8-week holds. And one thing though to note is the 8-week is turning over some. So like if you were to take like the time derivative of it, it would start, it looks like it's starting to go negative, which is actually, right around the time we broke through it. I'm just like eyeballing this. So you look at the 8-week SMA here, and it was really when it started to turn over here that it broke through. So if we go to the present day, we'll just see where it is. It is starting to turn over a little bit. It's starting to turn over a little bit here. Regardless, I think that the 20-week again is 25% down. It's not even that far, to be completely honest. Let's check on the regression bit. I think this is interesting because this is another, this is one of those indicators we've been following, and everyone says it's way too conservative, and I agree, we could easily break through it. And so far, it's done a pretty good job of basically being our ceiling, right? In the short term, we have not had a decisive move into it. I keep thinking that, if we do, when we get weekly closes up here, it would really be true Bitcoin mania. We haven't had that. So we're basically just riding that line and only wicks above it. Only wicks. So this wick, there's another wick there. So this is I believe this is our 4th wick. So we've had 4 wicks now into our upper regression band. We have not had any weekly closes in it, okay? So pretty good so far. We still also have not broken through into another regression band on our regression rainbow chart, right, which we've talked about before. We still have not broken that either. As you can see, we still have not broken that. We keep moving up slightly, but because we always say time is on our side, even though we're moving up, we're still within the same regression band, right? And if you zoom in here, we're still within the same regression band, despite the fact that we keep moving up. So is the regression band. And so the regression band is just moving up basically at the same rate at which our new price push is getting us up to. Yeah, so the top of the regression band, I mean, it is increasing relatively quickly, about $70 a day. So the top of it is at 90,382. So that's where the top of the regression band is, and it's moving up by about $70 a day. Another reason why I generally think time is on our side is that it is generally moving. It will continue to just move up. We'll go through some questions in a minute though, and we'll keep an eye on the bull market support band. We haven't tested it in forever, so. And really, honestly, now with it at 42,000, probably about to be at 44,000. In fact, it almost feels like that can't even be the 20-week, but it is. It's at $42,000, which is pretty ridiculous considering the 20-week SMA was, it was at 20K back in January. All right. What do you guys want to talk about? Guys, yeah, it's just another day, right? It's just another day in the cryptoverse. It's the same thing. Yeah, we got a pretty nice dip, I'm not gonna lie. The last hour was a pretty nasty candle there. 5% 1 hour. Actually, if you take it from where we started the candle all the way down, yeah, it was on 6.5%. But yeah, I do think it's just another day. And we'll see where we end up. Yeah, we can take a look at Ethereum. Okay, here's ETH. So we'll go look at the weekly candles. All right, so we're currently at 2090, so a pretty big pullback. You know, we discussed, I think the last video we did on Ethereum, or one of the last ones, you know, we were essentially saying, all right, 2,500, now what? And similar, I told you guys, I think 2,500 is going to be a major milestone, right? A major milestone like 1,400 and like 2K, and that it will take a decent amount of effort to decisively break through it. And that the chances we just immediately break through it and then just move up to 3K immediately are pretty low, but that it could take a little while for us to break 2,500. So clearly $2,500 is not going to go down without some type of decisive fight here. But actually, we're gonna go look at Bitcoin because we are getting a little pullback again over the last few minutes. So we're back down to 55.5, back down to 55.5, which I believe again. So 55.3 is the 8-week. So let me just pull up a few different charts. I don't need the Dogecoin chart up. So we'll pull up. Yeah, so we're actually currently below it. We're currently below that 8-week. We're now at 54. So we are slightly below it now. Well, actually, wow, the spread here, the spread from Bitstamp to this index is actually quite large. I mean, look at this. Bitstamp's already down to 44.4. This one's like $600 higher. That's a pretty big spread here. 54.3. Wow. That's a pretty big spread. All right. All right, we're at 54.4. So let's see, where is our 20 week? So again, our 20 week, I mean, it's really not that far away. So it's another $10,000. Be another $10,000 down for us to get there. So we're currently at 53.2. This is, I mean, like, maybe it's just that this is like amassing it from maybe the several, I don't even know how it's doing it. Let me check out Coinbase or something, see what it's there. Okay, so this one's a little bit more on par with the other one. All right, 52.3. I imagine the dominance has got to be going up. It's all over the place. So the dominance is all over the place because the altcoins are probably reacting right now. All right, 52. Man, I might need to, depending on how bad this gets, I might have to go. All right, we're at 52. 51. 51.9. Let's look at the weekly chart. So remember, the last time, so we have, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be a weekly close below it or not, but we have broken through that 8-week. We're actually pretty significantly far below it now. More than a couple $1,000s, like $3,000 below the 8-week. So, you know, I'm just saying, you know, when we had weekly closes below that back in 2013 or whatever, it was down to the 20-week we went. Again, the 20 weeks still, okay, so it's $1,000 away. The 20 week is $1,000 away, or 10,000 away, not 1,000, 10,000. That'd be 10,000 away. The 21 week EMA is, yeah, I mean, also less than 10,000 away. Yeah, the dominance is all over the place right now. In fact, I keep watching it over here. I mean, it's slowly moving up, which makes sense, right? You're gonna see it move up during a dump. Okay, so Ether, Bitcoin. It's actually holding up relatively well given the circumstances so far at 0.038. I'm surprised it's doing that well. Remember, as we said, the time to get back to the top can take upwards of half a year. And so far, we're only at a quarter of a year. Okay? So we're only at a quarter of a year so far. I'm thinking maybe by the end of the summer we can, or maybe by the middle of the summer or something, we can get back up here. But it's still, I mean, it's still several months from now. Let me look at some of the other coins actually and see what's going on here. So Litecoin is at 250. DOT is at 33. Okay, so ADA is at 110. Let me take a look at ADA. So ADA is still sort of in that range here between $1 and $1.50. I'm gonna switch this to the daily time frame. Still on our little range right here. Remember though, you know, if we do get, I don't know if we will or not. I mean, we could bounce back here. If we did get a drop to the 20-week, altcoins will get annihilated. Okay, I mean, they will get absolutely annihilated in that scenario. Which for me, you guys know I'm conservative. For me, that would actually represent a buying opportunity for a lot of coin, like a lot of altcoins and whatnot. I think that would be a huge buying opportunity if it did something like that. But we're still a long ways off. I mean, imagine what altcoins would do if Bitcoin did drop to that level. You know, I mean, imagine what they would do if it did drop another 20% or so. I mean, they would absolutely get wrecked. And that is, I mean, that's how you hopefully can pick up fairly cheap positions in that instance. Kermit says the biggest red candle in Ethereum history. I don't think so. I mean, like, what time frame? Yeah, I don't think that's the biggest candle. I mean, look at this one. This one, there was one, Ethereum had a daily candle over here that was negative 44%. Negative 44% last March. This is certainly not the biggest red candle Ethereum's ever had at negative 12%. I can assure you. I definitely can assure you of that. Make sure you guys hit this. By the way, I've never had 6,000 people viewing the channel. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you like the content. Again, we said it. We said it last week. We still have not had a decisive close up here, so we're still just riding the line. Like we're not going into that region, right? That true mania thing where you get into that sense where, okay, well, what's going on? Like this is ridiculous. You know, we haven't gotten there. We flirted with it, but we're not there yet. I mean, you guys know my thoughts. I mean, my thoughts have always been the same, in that we were a little bit ahead of schedule here. So let's take a look, because I want to do a comparison again. So we're going to remove everything, and we're going to compare last cycle again to this cycle. Okay, we're just going to compare, and we're going to take a bar pattern here, draw it out, and see where we are. And again, I don't think we're going to be able to keep pace. We have been ahead of schedule so far, but as I said before, I don't think we're going to keep pace with it. And if we're not going to keep pace with it, then at some point we have to go below it. And I'll actually have to do this analysis out with the actual daily closes, so it's a little bit more accurate. But you can see, as I said before, right, you know, we were ahead of it, and then we dropped down below it, and then we got ahead of it. If we come back down here, I don't really see that as a bad thing. So, regardless, you know, whatever cycle theory you prescribe to, still seems like we're ahead of schedule, right? It seems like we're ahead of schedule. And in fact, for us to have been at this ROI last cycle, we wouldn't have been there until June. So we would not have been there until June last cycle. I mean, yeah, I mean, and at the top of the wick here, you're talking about the end of June, really getting into early July, where where we were building off of that. So we were ahead of schedule, as we've said. So my thinking again is that if we cool off for a while, I think it'll just present an opportunity for people who sort of missed the boat for a while. Anyways, we're currently at 52.9. Let's zoom back in here. What's going on? Like, why is this? Coinbase is at 54.3 and Bitstamp is at 53.2. Is Coinbase down? Well, what's going on? Like, this is $1,000. This is more than $1,000 spread here. I mean, this is $1,300. Yeah, this is $1,000 spread. I'm not looking at like a future. I don't think so. It's just the exchange. Yeah, there's $1,000 spread between Bitstamp and Coinbase. Remember, this could just be a wick. There's no, until we get that weekly close below, we're not sure yet. But again, if we get weekly closes below these shorter term moving averages that we've been holding forever, I would be looking towards the 20 week, which we have not visited in a long time. Let's actually now take this opportunity to go look again, so that we don't get too carried away here, so that you guys don't get too carried away. Let's look again at time between tests of the 20-week SMA, okay? So we're just gonna look at the time. How long has it been? Are we due for one? How long has it been? So let's take a look. So currently, it has been about 189 days, okay? Which, from last cycle, that would have been ridiculous. I mean, we never went anywhere close to 189 days. The closest we came was here at the very end. And I mean, if you measure it from that point up, it was only 91 days. If you use that wick. If you don't use that wick and you go all the way back to the weekly candle, it was about 147 days. Okay, so 147 days between test of the 20-week moving average to the peak. And then if you go to the wick and say, okay, well, when did we hit the 20-week again? On the weekly, it was about 140 days. But then if you look at weekly to weekly, it was 196 days. But we haven't even had any wicks to the 20-week moving average. So even if we ignore this one, we haven't even had any wicks to that level. And it was about 196 days. Currently, we're at 189. I mean, 196 would just put us next week, in fact, if we were, compared to that. But the other tests of the 20-week SMA were nothing like that. I mean, this one was 112 days. This one here was 84 days. Here's another one that was 70 days. Another one here that was 84 days. So that's why I keep saying I think that it looks more like this cycle, when you had this time period of like a couple hundred days between systematic tests of the 20-week SMA, and then you go look at it and you see, okay, it looks pretty similar. Okay, let's actually take a measured move and see how they look. Okay, so I'm just gonna, I mean, it doesn't really, we'll first start with this way, and then we'll show just how quick that cycle was. And so you can see here what happened during that cycle. And if you measure it from the bottom, okay, so the bottom was actually in 2018. So if Bitcoin were not experiencing diminishing, so there's some people that like to say that Bitcoin's not experiencing diminishing returns. If Bitcoin were not experiencing diminishing returns, then 2 cycles ago, by December of 2020, we would have already been at $1.87 million. Okay, so the idea that diminishing returns are a meme or something that I just made up because I wanted to push the narrative is not true. I mean, if you look at say the ROI from market cycle bottom, we would have already finished the cycle and we would have already been much higher than we currently are. And if you sort of take the cycle before that one and overlay it, so we'll do the same thing with this one, and we're going to overlay it as well. I'm not sure what this wick is here, so I'm going to ignore it. But if you just go like look at that one, so you can see, so this is cycle 1. That's cycle 1. This is cycle 2. Okay, that's cycle 2. I'm going to delete all these things so we can really get a grasp on where we are in the grand scheme of this cycle. Okay, so cycle 1. Can I color code these? I'm going to color code this so they're slightly different. Okay, cycle 1, cycle 2. The current one is cycle 4, so we're gonna throw on here cycle 3. Okay, so we're gonna put on cycle 3, and we're gonna try to get it right there on the bottom or so. Okay, so this is cycle 3, and we'll make this a different color. So that's cycle 3. So what we can say from this is that, you know, the returns are diminishing, okay, from one cycle to the other. The returns are diminishing, okay? But what else do we notice? What besides the idea that the returns are diminishing, what else do we notice? Well, we also notice that the time is getting longer, right? So 1, 2, 3. And again, I will say, you know, there's a chance that it doesn't play out the way that I think it will, and that, you know, I've always said I think the cycle will be longer, and that we're going to have a lengthening cycle with the idea of institutions continuing to pour in for years. So if you look at this, it's always made more sense in my head that the next peak would be somewhere, you know, like over here, right? So, you know, so that basically when you compare one cycle ROI to another, it's sort of going down and to the right. Okay, so longer time, slightly diminished return, and then you know doing it again. Okay, so I just think it's just going to take us longer to get there. Okay, and I ultimately think our end goal is somewhere between $100,000 to $200,000, but I think it's going to take us a while to get there. Okay, I don't think we're going to get there tomorrow or anything. So we'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens if we end up doing something like that. I don't think, as I've said before, I don't think that we're going to keep pace with this market cycle, because at some point we've shown this before. Cycle 2 was keeping pace with cycle 1 and was not ultimately able to keep up with it. Okay, at another point, cycle 4, which is what we're currently in, was ahead of cycle 2, but was not able to keep pace with it. And again, we look at it today and we say, okay, well, currently cycle 4 is ahead of cycle 3, but will it be able to keep pace with it? I don't think so. Now, for Bitcoin to keep, by the way, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Definitely hit the subscribe button if you like the content. Give the video a thumbs up. Wow, we have 9,000 viewers, which I think is like twice the amount of viewers we've ever had on a live stream. So definitely subscribe if you guys like the content. And give the video a thumbs up. You know, if we look at the same idea and we just say dubiously extrapolate, I think we're in for a longer ride this time. So, by the way, for us to emulate the last cycle, which there's always a chance, right? There's always a chance. For us to do that, we would need to go to approximately $310,000 by December. Okay, we would need to go to $310,000 by December, which I think is too far extended. I don't think we can make it. I don't think we can make it to 310 by December. If you look at the last several peaks by Bitcoin, it's only been going up 2 or 3K the last 2 times it went into price discovery mode. So I mean, and again, it's been riding that regression band, right? Riding that regression band. And just show you, right, how ridiculous the prior cycles were with respect to our current regression band. Like this is why you have diminishing returns, because otherwise Bitcoin would have hit 2.8 million months ago. Back in 2019, we would have hit 2.9 million. And if we were doing the same thing that cycle 2 did, we would have hit 1.95 million back in December of 2020. And for us to do the same thing that cycle 3 did, we would need to go to 310,000 or so by the end of the year. I think those are a little bit too optimistic personally. If we make it there, fine, right? Fine. I just don't think we will. I don't think we're going to make it there that quickly. Anyways, I think Bitcoin will go to 300K. I just don't think it's going to be this year. So we'll see. So there you sort of see the cycles, the cycles more or less overlaid, right? We do the dedicated videos on it as well, where we really show where we are in the grand scheme of it. But right now we remain ahead of schedule, right? We remain ahead of schedule, and I mean it's hard to draw these exactly, at the bottom or wherever they on the wicks or whatever, but it looks something like this. So again, we shouldn't have been. If you think that I'm just pushing a bunch of BS with the lengthening cycle stuff, we can at least for a few minutes humor the idea of a 4-year cycle. So if you prescribe to that, then we're still ahead of schedule because we wouldn't have been at the current valuations, really not sustainably for another couple months or so. Okay, not till June or July, before we would have reached these levels. So, as I've said before, I mean I do think time is on our side. There will be corrections along the way, and we just had a nice little dip. And so far, this dip really hasn't been that bad. I mean, you're just talking about 9.4% on the week. Obviously, it's a little bit more extended on the daily time frame. If you look at the daily time frame, just today we're down 9.5%. Just today, so pretty nice dip by Bitcoin here. But we are trying to come back up. So we hit a low here of 51.5. Just drawing this up. So we hit a low here of 51.5. We're currently at 54.6. Well, how's Dogecoin doing during this? I'm just curious because everyone was talking about the Dogecoin bubble. All right, it's actually holding up pretty well, to be completely honest. Ether Bitcoin is looking really strong. I mean, I get that Ether USD has dropped, but the fact that Ether Bitcoin is still sitting at 0.0395 shows just how strong Ether is right now. I mean, it really does show how strong it is. To see it sitting at 0.0395, 0.0396, despite a 10% pullback by Bitcoin, is pretty impressive. I mean, okay, so in the last 24 hours, Bitcoin's down 13.5%. Ethereum's down, just updated. So Bitcoin's down 11.6%, Ethereum's down 12.4%. So really not that bad considering the circumstances. Obviously, Tether is up because people are flocking to safety. Dogecoin is down 23% in the last 24 hours. Polkadot 16.7, Cardano about 19. Chainlink's down 24. Yeah, I mean, it looks like a lot of the market's down about 25% or so here. Theta's down 26, Stellar's down 20, VeChain's down 12. VeChain's holding up relatively well given the circumstances. Yeah, I don't know who's paying 35 cents for Dogecoin. It seems ridiculous to me. Make sure you guys give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you guys like the content. But yeah, a little bit of cycle theory for us. See where we currently are in our current cycle. See that we're still quite all right in the grand scheme here. We just hit over 10,000 viewers, which I believe is a first. So I am going to screen capture that because I think that's pretty cool. So a bit of cycle theory. Still ahead of schedule. Plenty of room, plenty of time. Nothing but time. ADA is actually currently at $1.17, so back to the same grind, right? Back to the same grind. No weekly, no breakout on the weekly time frame, unfortunately. remember, if you guys are looking to earn interest on your ADA, we have the ITC stake pool. Okay, the ITC stake pool. You can go earn interest on your ADA. You know what I found is the people that have been in crypto. So you know why, like, I think that the general crypto community is acting the way it is right now is because there's been a huge influx of of um of new money into the space that has never experienced a cryptocurrency dip, right? So I think that explains the general sentiment. Um, right now, right? I think that generally explains the general sentiment. Is that a lot of these people, they just haven't experienced it, and even these types of dips that are 10 to 15% dips. And this is nothing. I mean, this is nothing. I mean, Bitcoin's still at 55K. I mean, we dumped to the price we were a few weeks ago. Literally, like the end of March, we were at 55K. Everyone was super happy that we were coming back up. So just a little bit of perspective, I guess, when navigating the crypto markets helps. You will have dips along the way, right? You definitely will. You definitely will have dips along the way. That's for sure. Someone says he bets we'll be at 100K Bitcoin in 4 months. We'll see. Maybe. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I might be ready to buy some crypto soon. I've been sitting on some stable coins for a while, so I mean, it might be time to go shopping soon. Someone says Forbes canceled. Also, is Forbes canceling you now? You're not canceling Forbes? So we went from, yeah, let's measure the correction so far. So yeah, it's only a 20% correction. We've had a 31% correction back over here. This was a 31% correction. This one is only 31% correction from the local top would actually take us down to, oh, it would take us down to the 20-week SMA is where it would take us. Look at that. So yeah, a 31% correction from the top would almost take us to the bull market support band there. So it'd take us to this level. Anyways, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. This could just be a wick. We'll have to see what happens over the next day. We'll actually get a weekly close tomorrow, which is kind of nice. We'll get a weekly close tomorrow. So in about 18 or yeah, maybe like 20. I think it's like 20 hours from now. 20 hours from now, we'll have a weekly close. And we'll see what's going on. We'll see where Bitcoin is if we're actually closing below the 8-week. Right now we're back up to the 8-week, I believe. Yeah, we're back above that 8-week. So again, it could just be a wick. It could just be a wick. We'll see what happens. If you want to follow along, the 8-week is currently at 55.3. So 55.3K has been that, and the only reason I say it is because that's basically where we've been holding support during the bull market so far. That 8-week moving average, and right now we are back above it. So again, don't get the wicks. The wicks can look scary when you live through them, but we're not having a huge capitulation quite yet. I mean, this is a nice chop. It's not the what's it called? It's not like the big one, right? It's not the big one. Not yet. By the way, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Definitely hit the subscribe button. We're at I don't even know what we're at. Let's get to 312,000 subscribers. T-Roll says, where's Fun with Crypto episode 2? I don't know. All right, we're back at the 8 week. Let's zoom in and see. Actually, I'm gonna go over here. Let me pull up another Bitcoin chart. So we'll look at it on Coinbase, and we're gonna look at it on the hourly time frame. Okay, so that's the hourly time frame. Yeah, I mean, that was a ridiculous hour. 58,982 down to 51,3, and then back up, and then we closed it at 58, or sorry, we closed that one at 56,4. Yeah, you can tell the market's really spooked when you see, I mean, legitimately, the spread on the price of Bitcoin is $1,000 between Bitstamp and Coinbase. Literally $1,000. Trying to read the chat. Yeah. We'll take another look at the I kind of want to leave that chart up. The pi cycle. So what's funny is it could end up playing out. But also another funny thing is, you know, so far this weekly candle doesn't even look as bad as this one over here. But we were saying pi cycle here because it hadn't crossed yet, or over here because it hadn't crossed yet. But now of course we are because it crossed. Yeah, we'll see if it plays out. Back right into the regression band again. Again, no weekly closes. No weekly closes in the regression band yet. Which is kind of crazy because we've been in it on 4 separate occasions, I believe. Yeah, we've been in it 4 separate occasions. 1, 2, 3, 4-ish, maybe 5. So maybe you could say 5 separate occasions we've been in our logarithmic regression band, and we were never able to get a weekly close in it. Never able to get a weekly close in it. Make sure you guys give the video a thumbs up. Let's go for 5,000 likes. I feel like with 9,500 people, we should be able to get to 5,000 likes. Yeah, here's a regression rainbow. Someone just asked for it. Basically the same area, right? It held resistance. The general idea of the general idea that we drop down a couple regression bands, you know, each time. So far we've been holding it as resistance, right? We have not been able to move past it. Doesn't mean we won't. I mean, I think time is on our side. Doesn't mean we won't, but we haven't yet. Because if you zoom in, you can see we're literally right on that line. Same line that we came up to back in May of 2018. We've just been riding up right against it. Yeah, I know. I was like, I was thinking I should probably go because I want to take advantage of the dip, but I mean, ADA just had a wick all the way down to like $1. Look at that. I mean, look at that wick here. I wonder if the wick even looks worse on Kraken, because a lot of times you'll see the wicks. No, it's about the same actually. I think I actually did have a couple buy orders in. We'll see if those got filled. Anyways, yeah, ADA's currently at 123, so we're basically right where we were 6 days ago. So yeah, ADA's back to where it was 6 days ago at this point. Puts things into perspective a little bit, right? I mean, to just think like, okay, we're just back to where we were last week. Yeah, I mean, I think ADA looks still relatively bullish to me. We're still in that same zone we've been in, and you know, it's always the downside risk of a Bitcoin dump. Now we're still in this accumulation zone. We would probably drop below it if Bitcoin, you know, I mean, if Bitcoin dumped to like 40K or something, then yeah, we probably would go below it. But to me, ADA still looks relatively bullish. And I just would call it the overvaluation reaccumulation zone here. Nothing more, nothing less. Doge is actually holding up relatively well in all this. Ether Bitcoin still looks great. The dominance, I'm guessing, it's actually not that bad. I mean, it's still at 53, so it really isn't that bad. I mean, you know, what's crazy for some to think about is that if Bitcoin stabilized at 56K, alts could start rallying again, because we're so far above that 20-week SMA that even a dump of 10% still doesn't even get us close to the 20-week moving average. So even if Bitcoin stabilized here, you could still see altcoins doing well over the next several weeks. Just because we're still so far extended from the 20-week SMA. Yeah, I mean, I think Ethereum is, I mean, at 0.039. So I guess the interesting thing is, okay, well, if it goes back up to the top of the channel, so let's say another 34%, with the current evaluation of Bitcoin, you know, that, I mean, if you're saying like, you know, if it goes to 0.052, so 0.052 times wherever Bitcoin currently is, so 55,939, you're looking at a 2,900 Ethereum. So you see how you know, we know that the price of Bitcoin is not invariant, therefore the ratio that Ethereum Bitcoin going to 0.052, maybe back to the top of the channel here, is very much dependent on what the valuation of Bitcoin is, and the Bitcoin valuation is changing every single day. So now if it went up to 0.052, it would actually correspond to less than $3,000. Yeah, I'm guessing some leverage traders got absolutely destroyed during that, which is why it's generally not a good idea, but... Yeah, we get a lot of dumps on Sunday nights. If you live through crypto long enough, you'll see tons of dumps on Sunday nights. Yeah, so we can look at, I mean, so this is Ether Bitcoin. My general thinking for the Ether Bitcoin valuation is that it's a slow grind. Kind of like it was a relatively, I mean, a long path down. So starting in, I mean, if you extend it all the way up, but starting in like June of 2017, all the way down to December of 2020, I mean, my guess is we're just in this for a while. Obviously, it looks a little bit better on a linear scale. But yeah, my guess is we're in this range for a relatively long period of time. And it's just a slow grind up. And we're going to go through these phases where people say Ethereum is dead, and then Ethereum will rally, and then everyone will get super bullish about it, and then it'll be quote-unquote dead again. And we'll just keep playing the same game over and over. But despite all the fear, all the FOMO, the FOMO going up, the fear going down, we're still generally just in our general channel here and just moving up, right? We're just moving up. Slowly but surely, the Ethereum valuation against Bitcoin is moving up. But it's not moving up nearly as quickly as it did last cycle. So, in order for us to say get to this center line at being like 0.06, it would take us until July of 2022 at this rate, unless we really go parabolic, right? Unless we go parabolic, it's going to take us. I mean, if you just think of like, okay, well, what if it does something like this? And let's say it goes back up to the top, and then we have our general Q4 bleed of the Ethereum Bitcoin valuation, and then back up. I mean, it could be a while. I mean, it could be a really long and arduous process. So this is the Ether Bitcoin valuation. Litecoin Bitcoin is doing okay. I mean, it's seen better days, but make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up. Let's go for 5,000 likes. Yeah, Litecoin ROI sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it does. That's why I always say, Litecoin. There's better fish out there, in my opinion, than putting all your money into Litecoin, because it bleeds against Bitcoin, it bleeds against Ethereum, it rallies against them sometimes, but it's generally not worth dealing with the constant downtrend of it. All right, so again, if you're just joining, I just want to reiterate, if you overlay cycle 1, cycle 2, and cycle 3 for Bitcoin over the current cycle, everything looks fine, right? I mean, everything's fine. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have corrections. We haven't had one in a while. If anything, we're ahead of schedule. If anything, we are ahead of schedule, right? I mean, look at it. We're ahead of the last cycle, which ultimately peaked later than the cycle before, and ultimately peaked later than the cycle before that. So, change your mindset. I think the way to win in crypto is not to go after this day trading leverage stuff. I think the way is to get your positions and buckle up. Okay, I think that's generally the way. So you get your positions when everyone's running scared in the streets, and you buckle up and you hold on for dear life. Right, you just hold on. You take profits along the way, so that so that crypto is not a black box of throwing money into and never pulling anything out. Because naturally, there probably will be some investments in crypto that you make that do well for a while and they never recover. So taking profits, especially altcoins, is a good thing to do. But again, I think the best way to win in crypto is to establish your positions when everyone's scared. And then just wait for the pumps to come, right? Because if history is any indication, they will come. It's just a matter of time. So, if we get a dump, I would say it's an opportunity. If we don't get a dump, then hey, it's a good thing we didn't sell all our crypto, right? I mean, or at least I didn't sell all my crypto. So, figure out what you need to do to win either way, right? So if it goes down, you've taken some profits that you can reinvest, and if it keeps going up, you left some on the table to keep taking advantage of the fact that you own that crypto and you want to continue to see it do well. But if anything, again, we're ahead of schedule, and I mean, time is on our side, generally speaking. The Bitcoin dominance is still at 53%, so. I mean, it's the same. It's just an area to keep an eye on. Okay. So again, if you guys have ADA and you want to stake with me and earn about just over 5% on your ADA, ITC ADA stake pool. I only launched it a week ago, and we already have, in 1 week, in less than a week, we have over $10 million worth of ADA staked in less than a week. So check out the ITC stake pool. Also, check out the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com if you're looking for exclusive content like weekly reports and videos, the Telegram alerts channel, the Telegram chat room, the risk dashboard, how I'm navigating the markets, intothecryptoverse.com. And also, if you guys are looking for some Into the Cryptoverse merchandise, merch, we have that as well, stored at intothecryptoverse.com. I just put it in the chat. You guys can check that out if you want a t-shirt or something. We'll have other stuff coming, but again, what I've said before, don't schedule the Forbes interview just yet. There's still plenty of money to be made in this market cycle. There's going to be bumps along the way. It should just present opportunities. Okay, the bumps should just present opportunities. I think the most interesting thing to me is the spread. I mean, the spread is not quite as bad as it was a few minutes ago. Like, it's only about $500 or $600, but at one point it was like $1,500. Like, the spread between some of the exchanges was like $1,500. It is a pre-sale, by the way, on the merch. It's a pre-sale, so the stuff is being made right now, so it's still going to be a couple weeks probably before you get it. And again, watch the 8-week, okay? The 8-week is I think, you know, we'll have a weekly close tomorrow, and that's what we've been holding as support. We're above it now. We're above it now, right? We're just above the 8-week. No major crash below it yet. We don't count wicks, right? Get wicks out of here. We don't care about that. Leave wicks to the day traders. We don't care about them. We're still above the 8-week moving average right now. So we'll see if that holds or not. We have a weekly close tomorrow in about 20 hours. So how's everyone doing tonight? You guys have any questions? Sorry. Some of you guys have jokes. How do you join ITC staking? I mean, if you have ADA, you can do it from the Daedalus wallet or the Yori wallet. We're gonna set up some staking pools probably for some other cryptocurrencies, but we got to start it with ADA. You just search ITC under stake pools. ITC is the brand, right, into the cryptoverse. That's why I always say thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Yeah, we can check the Ethereum. Let's see where we are. So we'll pull up the weekly chart. Look at this. Yeah, it's a pretty ridiculous candle, I'm not gonna lie. That is a pretty ridiculous candle. And if it closes like that, I'm sure every YouTuber known to man is gonna be saying, you know, I'm not saying it won't, right? I mean, if it closes like this, that's a pretty scary looking candle. Like, hold on. So we're from the bottom to the top is a 32% move. We're red right now. Now we're green. We'll see where we close. I'm sure. I'm sure if it closes red, it'll definitely change the narrative than if it closes green. The spinning top, right? That's what they call it, right? Spinning top. Yeah, you got yeah. Julio says, all right, yeah, it's the spinning top. Why is Coinbase Pro showing ADA at 140? Is it? Can someone else confirm that? I mean, is it because the exchange is down? I mean, it could be because it's down. Hey guys, again, I see a lot of people talking about leverage trading. In my opinion, crypto's already volatile enough that you really don't need leverage. And what's worse is the opportunity costs on losing your Bitcoin or your Ethereum is so high. There were people losing a lot of their Bitcoin leverage trading at 4 and 5K, and if they lost a full Bitcoin, their opportunity cost in a year was $60,000. Back then they said, oh, it's just one Bitcoin, it's only like $4,000. But then you think about it, it's the opportunity cost on it. Now you could argue, well, the opportunity cost goes both ways, because if you can earn Bitcoin, leverage trading, a lot of people don't make money. Okay, you might make money sometimes, but a lot of people lose money over the long haul. And what's scary to me that a lot of retail does, okay, and I'm just being completely honest. All right, let's be honest here. What a lot of retail does is they follow crypto YouTubers who are just average guys who really don't know what the hell they're doing other than screaming at you about the price of Bitcoin. And they're up, right? I mean, they're leverage trading tons of Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin that they're trading, that they're putting on the line, is usually just the Bitcoin that they've accumulated from shilling you their affiliate links. Okay, so for them, and by the way, this is why we don't have affiliate links on the channel. So for them, it doesn't really matter, because they're just playing with the house's money, in their opinion, right? They're playing with your money because you signed up with their affiliate link to whatever BS exchange they're telling you to sign up for, and then they're getting your Bitcoin based on the commissions of your trades, which is why they're always encouraging you to leverage trade yourself so they can earn the commissions on it. And then they go leverage trade like they know what the hell they're doing, and they don't, and then they get liquidated, and they're like, all right, well, they'll just wait a few more weeks and they'll get more because of all the affiliate link commissions. Okay, I'd be careful with this stuff, because a lot of these guys don't know what they're doing. Okay, they're just putting in random numbers. They're going long, they're going short, they're losing a lot of money. Doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot to them, but it means a lot to you. Okay, because if you're following their trades and you get liquidated, it's not so easy to earn that back. So I would say, don't follow these people that are doing this in general. Like, it's dangerous. I mean, I'm not saying don't follow them. You can follow them all you want. You can watch them. I mean, I think a lot of them provide decent content. But but in terms of the leverage trading, it's super risky. I mean, it's so risky, and so many people lose money on it. And the thing that I hate is, I'm sure someone's gonna get say something about this little speech. But the thing that I hate is that anytime there's a dump in the market, I always get like 20 or 30 DMs from people saying, hey, I was leverage trading because someone said it was a good idea and now I've lost all my Bitcoin. Just don't let this happen. Like, I mean, the opportunity cost is too damn high for you to be leverage trading your Bitcoin or your Ethereum. In my opinion, you should just accumulate when it makes sense to accumulate, and then just hold and wait for the market to move. Don't stress about it, because then if you're also leverage trading, you spend up half the night just watching the price of Bitcoin, and you really can't live that well because you're just watching the price every 5 seconds. So just accumulate and relax, right? Accumulate and relax and recognize that time is on our side. And I think that's a much better way to navigate the market. And I still think you come out ahead, right? I still think you come out ahead even in that situation if you just relax, accumulate, and wait. So, all right, I'll get off the rant, but the only reason I say it is because I just get so many messages anytime there's a major dump, and if you had just held, you would have been so much better off. I mean, Ethereum's already back up to almost $2,200. I mean, the Ether Bitcoin valuation is back up to 0.0393, which is higher than it was before the dump, right? I mean, Ether Bitcoin looks great right now. So again, I'll wrap it up with this. I'll wrap it up. I won't wrap up the stream. I'll just wrap up the little rant. Okay? Most of the people on crypto YouTube, they provide entertaining content that a lot of people like. And they're a lot more entertaining than me. Okay? I don't really consider myself to be that entertaining, to be completely honest. They're a lot more entertaining than me. And they provide content that I don't provide. But if you're going to follow them into leverage trading, just recognize they probably don't really, they probably are not, it's probably not the best idea to do it, because they're basically playing with the money that you're giving them through affiliate commissions, not the other way around. So be careful. Don't lose your Bitcoin leverage trading. If you're going to lose your Bitcoin, it should be because you're taking profits and you're buying a house, or you're taking profits and you're paying off your student loans, or you're taking profits and you're buying a car or something. That's the reason you should lose your Bitcoin. And you're not really losing it, you're just taking profits. So if you're going to go down in Bitcoin, because you're taking profits, hopefully not because you're leverage trading and you're leveraged out of your ears. All right, what else do we have? Yeah, we're here to make money. I'm not in it. And everyone always says I'm not very entertaining. Hey, I'm not here to entertain you guys. I'm just here to make money in crypto. So this is not an entertainment channel. Let's just be real, right? I don't have music playing in the background. We don't have any of that garbage. The charts, some quantitative analysis, nothing more, nothing less. To me, making money is entertaining, but not to everyone. I'm just looking at so far things are more or less recovering in the short term here. So Bitcoin is still trying to hold that 8-week moving average. So again, the 8-week moving average is at 55.3. We're currently at 55.9. We're above it right now. No major dump yet. The dominance is still at 53%. Ethereum's back up to $2,200. I told you guys I don't think $2,500 Ethereum's going to go down without a fight. Similar to a $2,000 Ethereum or a $1,400 Ethereum. I think that $2,500 Ethereum is not going to go down without a fight, and that it will take some time. But the nice thing, one of the great things about this, is that it gives us more time to build up, right? It gives us more time to build up, which I think is great. I really do. And again, still no decisive close in the upper regression band. Frickin' Dogecoin is still at 27 cents somehow. ADA is back at 124. So we're back to where we were last week. Ether Bitcoin is showing a ton of strength. I just want you guys to watch this because it's going back up. 0.0394. I kind of want to look at this on a shorter time frame actually. So let's pull it up on a let me just pull up on a minute time frame. So look at this. Look at this drop here. So it basically already recovered. So it was at 0.0393. It dropped down to 0.0369, and then it came back up. Now, the reason I always tell you guys that the danger in a dump is that altcoins bleed profusely. So if Bitcoin had not bounced back immediately, and by the way, it doesn't necessarily mean that it will hold it, but if it had not bounced back immediately, you can see how badly altcoin, I don't consider Ethereum an alt, I consider the index for alts, but you can see how quickly that valuation was going down. Let's look at the ADA Bitcoin valuation and see what was going on. I'd be surprised if it didn't dump pretty hard over the last hour. Maybe it recovered. Let's go to the minute time frame, and let's get off of this and this and this and auto it out. Yeah, so look at it, same thing. You see what happens? You see what happens when Bitcoin dumps? There will come a day, whether it's tomorrow or 2 months from now, where it won't immediately recover, and that's where the danger is in altcoins. So you're essentially experiencing your downside risk. Okay, that's your downside risk, because this isn't bleeding against USD. It did bleed against USD. It's bleeding against Bitcoin. Fortunately, it's recovering. So just holding through has been relatively good. Look, the ADA Bitcoin valuation is basically moving hopefully back up to where it was. Now, if Bitcoin dumps, you'll experience the downside risk again. And this is why I say, Bitcoin should be the majority of a portfolio, in my opinion. Not that it's financial advice, it's just my opinion. So ADA Bitcoin is back up to 2,200 Satoshis, 2235. Earlier we were sort of just trending around 2,300. So we're just shy of where we were earlier. But you really are experiencing the downside risk when you see a Bitcoin drop like that. Okay, that's the downside risk. Eventually it won't be so quick to recover. And then that's when alts get really hammered. And I'm saying whether that happens today, tomorrow, 2 months from now, 6 months from now, that's why you want to minimize that risk and have some Bitcoin exposure, right? You want to have Bitcoin exposure because it's not just important what the valuation is against USD. It's important what the valuation is against Bitcoin. Okay, so that's why it's important. Because I think that it's dangerous to think of anything in a deterministic way. Right, you don't really want to think too much about anything in a deterministic way, but if you were to be deterministic about any cryptocurrency, it should be Bitcoin. And the idea is that Bitcoin is a train that will be going to six figures at some point, and you want to increase your Bitcoin. And we don't know if all the altcoins we follow will go up, but we know that Bitcoin, if we had to pick one, right, I think Bitcoin would be the one we would all pick. So that's why I'm saying, you should have some Bitcoin, in my opinion. And the reason I say that, I think most people know that, but I think new people, so new retail to the space, might not know that as much because they, maybe they enjoy the higher theoretical ROI that altcoins bring. But protecting yourself a little bit with some Bitcoin, in my opinion, and I've been in this market a long time, in my opinion, is one of the best ways to navigate a market cycle, is having some Bitcoin in your portfolio. All right, what other questions do we have? By the way, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I don't even know where we're at. Hopefully we've made it to so we're currently at 311,000. Let's go for 312,000. We're still putting in rookie numbers. Yeah, there's gonna be, it's funny because there will be some people that wake up and they're like, oh, what the hell just happened? Yeah, a modest 312,000. Is a 100% Bitcoin portfolio risky? Well, I mean, I think anything you do in life is risky, right? Watching my YouTube channel is risky. Doing anything in life carries some level of risk. It's just assessing the risk and figuring out if it's worth the risk. I would argue that and it's not my opinion. It's based on the facts, right? I would argue that a portfolio, I'm just going to pull this up because I did a video on this earlier. This is the efficient frontier. So if you're talking about, I'm just going to use this opportunity because I know I'm going to take a hit by showing this because no one cares about this. And we have 8,300 viewers. So by the time I'm done talking about it, we'll probably have like 5,000 viewers. But because I have 8,500 people's attention, I'm just going to take a minute to talk about it. So you have your expected return in crypto and your risk level or your volatility. And having only Bitcoin does not maximize your Sharpe ratio or your risk-adjusted returns. Having a majority of Bitcoin does, and then having some Ethereum and some altcoins. Okay, I just ran this analysis on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Doge to make a point. I don't own Doge. My top 5 again are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, ADA, and DOT. I have some other ones as well. I talk about Uniswap, VeChain, a few others. But the point is you want to maximize your Sharpe ratio, your risk-adjusted return. So for any expected return, this is like say 100% annually, you're taking on some risk. And so if you're the yellow dot here, you're going to be at about 75% Bitcoin, 25% Ethereum. Okay, if you want to move up the curve, up the efficient frontier, okay, you're basically saying, all right, to hell with risk. I'm going to take on more risk in the hope that I see a higher expected return. To move up the efficient frontier, you have to get less Bitcoin and more Ethereum, or maybe another altcoin. The danger is that with altcoins, you also know that you have more downside risk, okay? So be on the efficient frontier, okay? And we've shown this before. We have plenty of videos on the channel showing it. As you go up the efficient frontier, it's less Bitcoin, more Ethereum. As you go down it, it's more Bitcoin, less Ethereum. But the yellow dot is what maximizes your risk-adjusted return. So for every unit of return, of every unit of expected return, you're getting the best bang for your buck, so to speak. And that would come out to be about 75% Bitcoin, 25% Ethereum, based on historical returns and historical volatility since 2015. We can't go back to further with Bitcoin because you have to use the same time series for both data sets. So using both from 2015, 75% Bitcoin, 25% Ethereum. Yes, Ethereum has more potential upside. It also has more potential downside in a bear market. So I'll get off that rant. But hopefully that was instructive. There's always someone to ask me about Litecoin, right? There's always someone. Yeah, again, it's the same thing, right? It generally bleeds. Sometimes it moves up, but it generally goes down against Bitcoin. So, I mean, if it's ever back up here, I'd be like, all right, that's the get the hell out time, right? Get the hell out time. We're all the way down here right now. Yeah, no, I was talking about the Peter Schiff tweet. Yeah, so I did a video on it because I was like, he basically said so far in 2021 Bitcoin has lost 97% of its value against Dogecoin. The market has spoken. Dogecoin is eating Bitcoin. All the Bitcoin pumpers who claim Bitcoin is better than gold because its price is worth more than gold must now concede that Dogecoin is better than Bitcoin. So I was like, all right, I think he's cherry picking a little bit because if you go actually look at the data, Bitcoin normalized, if you normalize Bitcoin and Dogecoin data, Dogecoin's nowhere even near Bitcoin. And what's funny, I'm like, he came to the conclusion that Dogecoin is better than Bitcoin, but really he should have come to the conclusion that Dogecoin is better than gold, which is what he promotes, right? Because even a meme coin with zero utility has drastically outperformed gold. Drastically outperformed gold. A meme coin with zero utility. It has not drastically outperformed Bitcoin when you normalize it, right, from inception. It's drastically outperformed gold. So that was the point of that video. Yeah, I mean, I know he was being sarcastic. Like, I get the whole thing with sarcasm. I don't think he actually thinks Dogecoin is a good investment. My point is he's basically saying he's using the some thinking to say that Dogecoin is better than Bitcoin because it gave better returns. But in fact, it hasn't given better returns. The only reason you could say it has given better returns is if you cherry pick a very small sample size. If you cherry pick a small sample size, of course you can say it's given better returns. But I'm saying if you don't cherry pick anything, you can see that Dogecoin has actually outperformed gold, which is what he does promote and never jokes about, right? I mean, he doesn't really joke about gold, but even Dogecoin has outperformed gold. All right, let's see what's going on. So Bitcoin's at 55.5. So we're right at that. We're right at the 8-week SMA again. Okay, we're right at that 8-week SMA. And so this is the test, right? This is the test. If you don't hold it and you start moving down, alts are probably going to bleed against Bitcoin. That's why you have Bitcoin to maximize or to minimize your risk in a potential downslide. Right now we're still just above it. We're at 55. The 8-week moving average is around 55.3K. We're currently at 55.6. So far, we had a wick all the way down to like 51. Yeah, around 51.3. So we had a wick about $5,000 down. Oh, the wick did not put any panic in my heart. I mean, personally, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, I have mixed feelings about it. Like I want the market. I would benefit if it dropped because I have taken some profits and then I could reinvest. But in other ways, it would kind of suck because then a lot of people are going to be really upset for a few weeks. So I mean I have mixed feelings about it, right? I don't want you guys to lose money, but I also wouldn't mind accumulating some altcoins at lower prices as well. So I mean it's sort of like, well, you gotta pick one. I'm curious, like where do you guys stand? Would you prefer a dump so that you could accumulate at lower prices, or would you prefer for it to just go straight up and not look back? Where do you guys stand on it? Huh. It seems like a lot of people want it to dump, but yeah, it seems like there's some that want it to go up. I would say it looks like maybe 75-25, actually maybe like 80-20, 80-20 between people wanting it to dump versus go up. Yeah, dump and recover. Obviously, dump and recover, right? I mean, if the options are dump and never recover versus just go up, then I would certainly pick just go up, for sure. All right, we're just above the 8-week SMA right now. By the way, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Let's see, we're still at 300. We're still at 311,000 subscribers. Make sure you guys subscribe. Straight up to schedule the Forbes interview. Yeah, the spread isn't quite as bad as it was earlier, but well, actually, it kind of is. I mean, Coinbase is at 55.5. Well, it's not quite as bad. I mean, no, it's actually only a couple $100. So earlier it was like $1,500. It's not quite as bad now. It's like Coinbase at 55.6. This index one is at 55.4. Yeah, and then Bitfinex at 55.5. So it's actually the spread between the exchanges isn't quite as bad as it was earlier. We saw it get up to like $1,500 at one point earlier. Looks like Dot and Link have both dropped a similar amount. I mean, Dot's at 35, Link's at 34. A is still at $1.20, so it's maybe back to being stablecoin status because that's where it was stable for weeks. By the way, make sure you guys give the video a thumbs up. We are actually we're only 600 likes away from 5,000 likes. We've never even gotten to 4,000 likes, I don't think, before on a live stream. So hit the subscribe button and give the video a thumbs up and click the bell icon, turn on the notifications. Remember, we do have the premium list. You guys can find that at intothecryptoverse.com if you guys want exclusive content. Also, remember, we have a Telegram channel you guys should check out. Over 31,000 people in it. I will post that in the chat if you guys want to come talk crypto after the stream. Check out the Telegram channel. Remember, I will not message you first. If you get a message from someone pretending to be me, remember it's not me. I'm gonna go over to the minute chart and see what's going on here. All right, it's the our cliff dwellers, right? Our little cliff dwellers. Are we just going back down? we're still sitting just above the 8-week here. I mean, again, if you guys just joined, we were just looking at some market cycle theory. This was the first cycle, second cycle, and third cycle, overlaying it with our bottom, and we're just saying, hey, you know, we're actually currently ahead of schedule. Everything still seems relatively normal. I mean, even we could get a dump, and it still seems relatively normal. So, nothing too crazy. Still just, we're trying to hold it at the 8-week. Yeah, we do have the lifetime option for the premium list. Al just posted it. The price on the lifetime option is actually going to go up on May 1st. So, I mean, you guys can check it out if you want. But if you're new, I would recommend starting with a monthly subscription just to see what it's like. No, I don't do any mining. All right. What do you guys want? I mean, should we just call it here? I don't know. I mean, we can stay on if you guys want. And we have more. I mean, even we had 10,000 viewers. Now we're down to 7,700. But it's still like 3,000 more viewers than we've ever had. So. Yeah, Forbes is canceling on you. I think a lot of people are going to get wrecked on Doge. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to dump exactly here, but I think a lot of people are going to get wrecked. You know, I just realized something. The Doge, I wonder what the Doge Bitcoin valuation looks like right now. It still looks absolutely insane. It still looks absolutely insane. We're still sitting at around 53% here with Bitcoin. Still right above the 20 or the 8-week. All right. Yeah, let's go check out the VeChain Ether valuation. I'm kind of curious where it is. All right, it's still looking really good actually. So VeChain is still showing a lot of strength against Ethereum right now. I mean, it's still all the way up here. So good for VeChain, honestly. I mean, I am relatively bullish on this coin. Again, I only have like a few videos on the channel on it, but it is one that I approve of, if that means anything. Probably doesn't, but showing a decent amount of strength. All right, we're at the 8-week again. We're at 55.3, so we're sitting at the 8-week moving average, the 8-week estimate, anyways. San Diego says, wow, where is all the Leverage Boys videos when it's dumping? Hey, I told you guys, a lot of them will abandon you in the bear market, so. Still at the 8-week. We're at 55.4. 55.3. I'm kind of curious if we'll see it like on stream, whereas we actually go below where we were. So I mean, actually, if you look at this wick, we actually at one point we're at the last cycle. So I still contend, and I'll contend it until the end of the cycle, unless I'm proven wrong, that we will not keep pace with the last cycle. I don't think we will. I think we're going to ultimately cross over. It doesn't mean we can't keep going up. I just don't think we're going to keep pace with it. I don't think we're going to go to 310 by December. 310,000, which is what we need to do to keep pace with the last cycle. I will remain determined that we will not. If we do, then great, but I don't think we will. Yeah, I mean, I still think a double top cycle is theoretically possible, because we've discussed that before, right? It looks a lot. The current cycle looks very similar to 2 cycles ago. In fact, if you overlay this current cycle with 2 cycles ago, but you shift 2 cycles ago to be the bottom at the March dump instead of the December dump, you can see the similarities. Okay, look at that. Look at the similarities there. Okay, we actually are ahead of schedule compared to that one. If we take this one in, we had a double peak cycle. Remember, we're going to experience diminishing returns. Otherwise, it would imply a $2.5 million Bitcoin. It's just not happening anytime soon. So, I mean, it's just not. And there are some, there definitely are some similarities in the fact that it didn't really test the 20-week moving average for a while. Someone says XRP didn't move. I mean, yeah, it did move. It's at 127. So I mean, it did move. Maybe it didn't move as much. I don't know. We can check. Let's see where things are. Oh yeah, I mean, it's down 19%. What are you talking about? Get out of here. Sweet, we reached 5,000 likes. Thank you guys. Make sure you guys subscribe. Yeah, I can't even sell the XRP that I have, so I don't really care. I'm just like, whatever. I have some, so what? I can't do anything with it. At what point would I start buying Bitcoin? I mean, not here. It doesn't mean it won't recover here, right? I mean, if it does, great. I'm happy with my position. It would need to dump substantially more from the current prices for me to accumulate. But I'm fairly risk averse, right? A lot of you guys like taking on more risk than me, so I mean, feel free, right? Feel free. Your heart's content. You got 54.9K Bitcoin. For me, I'm fairly risk averse. I like mainly accumulating in the bear market, and then just sort of taking profits all the way up, and then just waiting for things, waiting for people to get super fearful again, and then just accumulating again. I don't like accumulating when it's up 20x in 13 months, right? I mean, we'd have to see a pretty substantial correction for me to get excited about accumulating again. And I mean, I come from a slightly biased perspective as someone who was accumulating for years during the last bear market. And so, if you weren't accumulating for years, then I would argue that, hey, you still might want to get some, and you might not want to wait, because we don't really know what's going to happen. So I think for new people, a DCA strategy can be quite useful, right? A DCA strategy where you say, you know what, we could be at a local top. We might not be. If history is any indication, even if we are, it's only a matter of time before we eventually move back up. And so you could just look at it like that, like a systematic DCA strategy, until one day, eventually, all of your buys should be in profit. I don't know how long that's going to be, but if you just DCA every single week, those are the real winners, right? Who in here DCA'd during the bear market, no matter what happened, right? If it went up 10%, great, you DCA'd. If it went down 20%, even better, you DCA'd. These are the real winners. These are the real winners in the bull market, okay? As I've said before, I've said many, many times, and I said this in the bear market to those that were willing to listen back then. Bull markets will make you money. Bear markets will make you rich. Those that accumulate in the bear get rich in the bull. Those that accumulate in the bull make money. They might not get as rich as the people who accumulated in the bear get, because the people that were accumulating in the bear were accumulating at much lower prices when no one cared about crypto. So if you do find yourself being some of the new retail in the space, whenever things get bearish beyond what you could possibly imagine, and then they go down even more, that's the time to buy crypto. Generally speaking, at least that's the least risky time to buy crypto, when literally everyone is running for the streets and everyone's saying Bitcoin's dead. And we'll have those phases again, right? We'll have those phases again. It's just a matter of whether you stick around or not. Those that stick around generally are rewarded, and then those that don't end up chasing the pump later on. And maybe they make money, maybe they don't. But the people that accumulate when things are bearish are the people that really get rich, I think. I'm sure there's people in the chat that were watching this channel or other channels back in the bear market and were accumulating crypto, and now they're sitting really pretty and they're just looking at it like, oh, whatever. I mean, it's still up 20x from where you bought. So it's all a matter of perspective, right? And I think those people that just start DCAing at any point, if you just DCA endlessly, eventually you'll be there too. You'll be there too eventually. It's just a matter of time. Time, as I said, time is on our side in the grand scheme of the market cycle, I think, but also in sort of just the grand scheme of cryptocurrency in general. Like, forget market cycles. Bitcoin will go up and down through the market cycles, but it's still going to likely trend up over time, and I think that's what's important. How did I go from nuclear engineering to crypto? I've actually thought about making a video on it. There's during my when I was doing my dissertation, I was mainly looking at radiation damage, and I was thinking there's some similarities between a radiation damage cascade and cryptocurrency, because in a radiation damage cascade, you have what's known as a primary knock-on atom, the pKa, and it goes into a substrate with all these other atoms, right? And when it hits them, then this atom will come over and knock another one, and then this one will come over and knock another one, and then it'll branch out. So it's sort of like crypto, right? One person gets involved, and then they get a couple people involved, and then they get excited about it, and they get more people involved, and then you just have a cascade where then everyone gets involved, and it just gets so heated. The entire space becomes amorphous, right? The entire space becomes amorphous, and then eventually it anneals and maybe recrystallizes. But that's the way you go from nuclear engineering to crypto. Pretty standard stuff, right? Pretty standard stuff. All right, we're at 54.9. Koala Bear says he's doing research on DPAs and PK analysis on molten salt reactor materials. Interesting to know. Yeah, so I did all my analysis using classical molecular dynamics. So maybe check out molecular dynamics if you're looking into it. Or you could do first principles. I mean, arguably classical is, I mean, it's limited to the inner atomic potential that you're using, right? I mean, the inner atomic potential is fitted to whatever conditions you want to look at. So I mean, you could look at first principles MD as well, but the challenges there are that you will have a hard time looking at cascades that are very large because they cannot be larger than the characteristic length of your box. Anyways, you guys don't care about that. I'm sorry. I spent 5 years of my life studying that stuff, so it's easy to talk about. All right, we're at 55.2. So we're basically right at that 8-week moving average still. Let's go back over here. Let's remove the drawings. We'll pull up the weekly. So yeah, we're still at that 8-week which is, I mean, on this exchange it's at 55,228, which we're actually at 55,228. How about that? Sorry. Someone says the ADA spread is still there. I don't know. I'm just looking at it on where is the ADA spread? So on Binance it's 117. Let's go check it out on Coinbase, because everyone's telling me on Coinbase it's a lot higher. Oh yeah, it's a 125, so it's a pretty big spread here. 118 versus 124, 125 on Coinbase. Yeah, you know the market's pretty crazy when that happens. HWK says, "Hey Ben, I just want to hear your advice. Do you recommend going full-time on crypto if I made 20K starting from $500 since March 2020? I mean, to be honest, at this rate, I won't really need a job. I would say keep your day job, my friend. Crypto is not always fun and games, and it's too risky. I think it's too risky for you to quit your day job. I mean, 20 grand is great and all, but I mean, that's not like going to get you to retirement or anything. And there's no free lunch, right? There's no guarantees you're going to keep making that much money. So I would say keep the day job until you actually have enough money to where you can live off of it for, as long as you can, as long as you can really imagine. Don't bet the family farm on the fact that you turned $500 into $20,000, because really anyone could have done that in a bull market. I mean, you just pick a few coins and they all went up. So the bull market won't last forever, but you want your job to last longer than the crypto bull market. So I would say keep the bull market, and then you can use the money you make from the job to maybe keep buying crypto or whatever the hell you want to buy. But don't quit your job just because you made 20 grand in crypto. That does not sound like a wise decision. I mean, 20K, I mean, it might sound like a lot of money, but I mean, if you think about the expenses you have in a year, it's not gonna last forever. I mean, even if it were 100K, I would tell you to keep your job. Even if it were 300K, I would tell you to keep your job, right? I mean, 300K, I would still say keep your job, right? You don't need to give up your job because you're making money. Like, keep the source of income. And I mean, at some point there becomes a line where you say, all right, it's enough, but 20K I don't think is I mean, maybe it depends on where you live, right? I mean, if you're living in a place where the cost of living is really, really cheap, then maybe 20K is enough. If you're living anywhere in the United States, then 20K is not going to go that far. Someone says, what if your job makes you depressed? Well, that's a different question. The question is not, should you quit your job if you're depressed? The question is, should you quit your job if you turned $500 into 20K? And quitting your job because you turned $500 into 20K, in my opinion, is a really bad decision. I don't think that makes sense in any way. No, I don't. I think that would be an awful decision. I'm just giving you my advice, right? I mean, there's probably some people out there that would give you the opposite advice. I'm just telling you my opinion. Yeah, Walt says if your cost of living is 500 a year, then yeah, you're good. I mean, yeah, like if you can live for $500 a year, that might be different than than if you're living in the United States, where I mean, you're going to be hard pressed to find a place to rent for $500 a month, much less $500 a year. Timothy says he quit his job after he made 9,000 on Doge. I hope he's kidding. Everyone calls it the pi. Like, yeah, like I get the pi cycle top, but I keep seeing people in the chat misspell it. They say the pi. It's not pi, right? It's pi. It's this symbol. It's pi, which if you're not familiar with that is like 3 point like 14159, I don't know, like 2653 or something. Like basically the reason it's called the pi cycle top indicator is because it's the cross of twice the 350 day and then the 111 day. And then if you take 350 and divide it by 111, you get 3.153. So you get 3.153. So it's not like the pi cycle top indicator like PIE. It's it's pi, PI. All right, where is Bitcoin now? So we're still above the 8-week SMA, so we're still riding that fine line right now. Now everyone's talking about eating pie. Great. Someone says the PewDiePie cycle. All right. All right, so we're still just above the 8-week, which again is at 55.3. Just, I mean, it depends on the exchange, right? I mean, this exchange, the 8-week is at 55.269. So we're still above it right now. Doesn't mean we're gonna hold it, but we're still above it right now. ADA's still at about around $1.20. Yeah, Steven says, do I exist in anything besides crypto? Of course. Yeah, I have a lot of other investments. If Bitcoin reaches a peak somewhere in the 1 to 150 range in this cycle, what's the price it could settle out in the next bear market? I mean, I think maybe 40 to 50K, honestly. If you go out and you look at the accumulation band, okay, so the accumulation band is basically when no one wants to buy Bitcoin. In a few years, it'll be somewhere up here, right? It'll be up in this area, like 40 to 50K. So I'm thinking somewhere maybe over here. I mean, if you like expand this out, right, it'll look something like this. So I'm thinking somewhere over here in this range, maybe like 40 to 50K or something. I don't know. I mean, it could come sooner as well, right? It could come over here. It could come sooner. Note that every halving, the price of Bitcoin has been within a couple percentage points of the fair value fit. So like we had one halving all the way back over here, all the way back over here, and we were within like a couple percentage points. We had another halving like in July, like over in this region, and we were right at the fair value. Then we had another halving in May of 2020, and we were right at the fair value. And then the fair value in a few more years will be 40 to 50K by the next halving. So I would say maybe it'll be about 40 to 50K if I had to guess, but I mean, I could be wrong. It could be a little bit higher too. Could be a little bit lower as well. Remember, we have Remember to subscribe to the channel. Let's get 312,000 subscribers. We're at 311 right now. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, click the bell icon to turn on alerts. I'm actually gonna head out in a few minutes. Maybe I'll actually head out now. Remember, we do have the premium list. You can find that at intothecryptoverse.com. And if you want to buy a t-shirt with the Into the Cryptoverse logo, you can check out the store.intothecryptoverse.com. And then finally, if you own ADA, you can stake with the ITC stake pool if you're looking to earn interest. All right, why don't we wrap it up there? I mean, we've been going for almost 2 hours. I don't really think I have anything else useful to say. It's just the same old, right? So thank you guys for tuning in. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Click the bell icon to turn on alerts. Give the video a thumbs up. I will see you next time. Bye.